Coach Jay Thomas, the Demon football coach, getting ready for a big Saturday night in Turpin Stadium against the McNeese Cowboys, coming off a tough loss up at Central Arkansas to a very physical football team. Coach Thomas, there were some really good things that happened at UCA and some really frustrating things that happened. Tell us about them.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got to give a lot of credit to UCA. Came up with a really good game plan, particularly offensively, and took advantage of, some weaknesses that we have. And, but our kids fought all the way, to the end. And that's always encouraging. We had opportunities early in the game. We needed to get out in front of them and stay out in front and force them into a different style of offense. We were unable to do that. It's just, we got our kick coverage. We just gave up too many big plays there where the ball stayed at midfield. And then when you play a good football team like UCA, you can't give them that many short fields. And then, of course, we got 4 inside guys on the defensive line, man. They playing as hard as they could play, we just don't have much depth there. So, it's something that we got to try to figure out and address as a defensive staff. And we called everything we had in the game. And, we're studying right now. We're turning over every rock. Obviously, we're going to need to be able to do that this week with another really powerful running football team coming into town. So, a lot of good things, though. Offensively, we moved the football very well. At times we were very explosive and, put a number of points on the board. We did have one critical turnover, but, when it was really tight in the ball game. But overall, I thought the kids played hard. They put their hearts out there on the line and, kind of looked like we were a tired defense going into the game. So we'll have to address that this week, too, as well.
So, if your defense was tired going into the game, how do you change that going into this next game?
Well, we're going to take a little different approach. We came in last night, it's a long road trip up to UCA. We got back at, 3:30 in the morning. And by the time you get everything settled down and go to sleep, man, it's 5 o'clock. So, we had our meeting last night. We changed some things. Typically, that's the way I like to do it this time of the year. We're in an 8-game stretch. We're right in the middle of it. So, technically, it's kind of like building in a semi-open date type situation as much as you can and still prepare for a game. So we didn't lift last night. We didn't sit and review film. So we gave the guys a chance to go relax a little bit more, get off their legs. We got midterms coming up. So that's always, interesting to get through that part of it with you guys, and because they're staying up a little bit later and studying, should be anyway. And but just trying to prepare and get them prepared and staying hydrated and make sure we're doing the right things. And then, of course, a little bit different approach this week. We'll shorten some things up in practice. We won't go full pads like we typically do, and just change some things to try to keep our emotions high and shorten the practice up. And just learn that just from past experiences.
Speaking of past experiences, as head coach at Nichols and assistant coach here, you've got a lot of experience going against the McNeese Cowboys, and you've had some good success against McNeese. Any secrets?
Well, I tell you, it's always difficult to prepare for. Coach Viatar, and I got a ton of respect for what they do. And coaching staff. I got a lot of good friends there too as well. I've been in it so long. I got a lot of buddies that everywhere we go. So, and they do a tremendous job of coaching. Got a lot of really good players. And, the thing with them is you never can really pin them down offensively. Coach Viatar, they do a good job on the offense. And, yes, it's been a lot of ball games I've been through, either down at Cowboy Stadium and then, of course, getting it started here in Turpin Stadium. It's always, it's a physical contest, a lot of good players out on the field, and, it should be no different this Saturday. This is a big game for us. You look at our team, now we're going into our 9th ball game. This will be our 4th home game out of 9 ball games. So, I'm very proud of our team. We've had to go on the road a ton this year. We've been very competitive. We won on the road and we've won some here at home. So I expect our guys to get up. Emotionally last night, they got into it, and I think I picked the podium up and threw it on the ground. They got really fired up about that. My back's hurting today, but we had a good time and got the spirits up. And look, hey, we're right in the middle of this thing. So, And yes, it's a very important ball game. Of course, all four coming down the stretch in November are very, very important to us.
With your defensive status, you got two of your best players who may be day-to-day. You might have them Saturday, might not, and Deion Simon and Amon Claiborne. Is this a game where it might be a score war, where it is just unleash the offense and see how many times you can light up the scoreboard? You said you may be a little more aggressive last week. You were with a fake punt deep in your own territory. Is it kind of the same script this week, perhaps?
Well, I think that that's the mindset we have to take. You know, we've got to be a little more aggressive in some areas. You know, last week, boy, it was there for the taking, you know, and it was 27-21 at that point, and it was, you know, I still stand by it. It was a very good decision, very good call. We just didn't execute it the way we needed to. And that's on us coaches. We got to make sure we got that taken care of. And, you know, but, you know, credit to our defense for coming back and you know, we explained it to the team, hey, we're going to be aggressive. At halftime, we still got to be aggressive. And some of these big ball games, sometimes you have to stay that way. Again, we'll take the same mindset going into this one. And but McNeese, they don't give you many spots to be real aggressive. They make you play football. So we're going to have to be ready to do that first and foremost.
You're fourth in the nation in turnovers forced. For the first time this season, you face an opponent that did not give up the football. How critical is it to get turnovers Saturday night against McNeese?
Well, it's going to be extremely difficult to do that, to protect the football very well. They've always traditionally been that way in the style of offense. They like to play a pro-style offense and then mix in some spread with it. But, you know, UCA, very similar to UCA in their mindset, similar to our mindset, you know. So it's you know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be critical. And here's the thing is, we just can't give up the field position like we did last weekend and put our defense in bad situations, you know, particularly, you know, with the kicking game. You know, and somehow last weekend we got a ball mixed in the bag that wasn't our ball, you know, and the interception that we threw was not our ball. You know, it was, and we were having trouble gripping the ball, and finally found out, you know, our players were like, hey, it's not our ball. So I don't know how this ball got in the bag last week, but it didn't have a UCA stamp or it didn't have a Northwestern State stamp on it. So somehow it got in the ball game at the wrong time of the game, you know. So anyway, we finally got that taken care of. But yes, sir.
So we're blaming it on UFOs, unidentified flying objects.
Unidentified flying. No, we can't blame the whole game on, but no, but. You know, I don't know how this happened. Maybe a little kid on the sideline was playing with a ball and got them mixed up. I don't know. But, you know, I'd never had that happen before, ever. I'd never seen that happen before, you know. It was interesting. It was. And so we had to make that ball disappear so we could actually get our game ball out there, you know. So anyway, things happen. You know, I've seen it just about. That was one I hadn't seen, actually, you know, over all the years. But no, you got to give UCA a lot of credit. They played really well, played a good game, and you know, and obviously this is a big one. It's going to be good to be back home, be the fourth home game this year, you know, and just with our fans, you know, and our student body, our band, you know, and I think it ought to be a great game day atmosphere, you know, Saturday night, you know. We like playing at night. McNeese likes to play at night, so it ought to be a fun challenge.
Okay, and I know that you are very aware now of the intensity of NSU McNeese, schools that are two hours apart, a lot of common ground between the two, and that's something that you've really gotten indoctrinated.
Well, I got to really experience it coming here and being a position coach for 2 years, and then of course as a head coach, you really it intensifies a little bit more. But yeah, it's a great rivalry. A lot of respect from both sides. You know, it always seems to get heated in the course of, you know, the game, and you know, and it's an in-state battle. We do, you know, head-to-head recruiting. You got all those things involved in it. You know, the history of all the years of playing this game, and you know, we'd like to. You know, certainly make it more of a rival game. You know, we need to win a few, you know, to keep that thing going. So it's going to be a big challenge, you know, for us. And, you know, and it's going to be a huge challenge for our defense to play well.